Honorway Products reporting from Commerce City. We just arrived here, just ahead of Senator Biden. His entourage is coming in right behind us. Pretty crazy. He must have had a meet and greet up in Greeley, had some lunch, and then headed down. So here he is. Here's his campaign bus.
Oh, the Secret Service guys.
Secret Service, the whole entourage. So it's Tuesday, October the 21st. Second stop in the Front Range tour this morning up at Greeley, University of Northern Colorado. And now it's 4:30, quarter to 5, and here we are in Commerce. Well, we're in. We got tickets to get in the Commerce City event with Senator Biden. Lucked out, walked up at the right time. And the people at the gate found 2 tickets for us and some sideline seats. So as you can see, we're behind the podium, but hey, we're in. And we get to hear a fantastic speech, no doubt. So I'll turn on the recorder when he comes on. He'll give you a few snippets of Senator Biden here in Commerce City, Colorado. Honorway Products reporting. It's Tuesday, October 21st. Remember, get out and vote. Report later.
Very basic, simple message. Change is on the way. Change is on the way. And I was talking today on a bus ride between cities with an old friend of mine. I've been friends for 23 years. And I must say, Barack and I have never been more proud to receive the endorsement of a Republican than the endorsement of Colin Powell on Sunday. General Colin Powell, Secretary Colin Powell, saying Barack Obama is ready to be Commander-in-Chief of the United States of America. Colin's friendship and counsel, and he assured me today, and I mean this is important, it's not a minor point, he will be available. He will be available, God willing, if we are to succeed, to Barack and me. And believe me, folks, we are going to take advantage of his depth of knowledge and his incredible leadership. About that is, Mr. Mayor, you and I remember when John Kerry was up about 7 points at the exact same time, last time out. Al Gore in the beginning of October was up by, don't hold me to the number, but double digits, 13, 14 points. And we saw what happened. I want to remind you what you already know, but it bears being repeated. Polls and endorsements don't determine the outcome of elections. Votes determine the outcome of elections. I know we have some early voters here today. Where are you? Where are all the early voters? Look at that. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. I encourage all of you in this gymnasium to not only yourself, but contact your friends and your families. Don't wait. Don't wait till election day to vote. Vote now. Vote now. Vote now. For the rest of you, that we always passed on to our kids something better than we had. Well, I grew up in a neighborhood like many of you, loaded with mothers and fathers who told us that if we worked hard, if we played fair, if we loved our country, if we cared enough, there wasn't anything we couldn't do. Wasn't anything we couldn't do. And we believed it. And we did it. But ladies and gentlemen, that American dream is becoming more distant to millions and millions of Americans. Mothers and fathers who see the tables have been turned on them and have more difficulty looking at their kids and saying with certitude, I promise you, honey, if you work hard, if you play by the rules, if you go out and get a good education, if you believe in your country, there's nothing you can't do. Folks, this is kind of scary. Think about it for a minute. In the most recent debate, John McCain felt the need to declare, I am not George Bush. Well, folks, have you ever heard that old expression? He doth protest too much. Ladies and gentlemen, over the course of three debates, 20 months of campaigning, 8 years of failed economic policies, there's not one fundamental economic issue on which John McCain has challenged the policies of George Bush. He voted 4 out of 5 times for George Bush's budget. He bragged about voting for the President of the United States of America, voting with him, George Bush, 90% of the time. And remember, and I apologize for my back, folks. Remember how he won his party's nomination? He won it by telling the Republicans that there was no stronger supporter of George Bush than John McCain. Gentlemen, forget for a moment whose fault it is. No one can deny we're in deep economic straits. And no one can deny that the policies that we have had in place for the last 8 years, at a minimum, have not helped. I would argue they caused the problem. But even if you don't agree with that, they're doing nothing to help us. Look, John McCain and Governor Palin, to try to separate themselves from George Bush, have used the phrase maverick more than I've ever heard it. By the way, I got a woman on my staff who's a really bright lawyer who does all the policy stuff. She is actually a member of the Maverick clan. It's a clan, it's a family in Texas. She's actually a member. If they want to read a real Maverick, I'll introduce her to her. But here's the deal. They use this Maverick phrase like somehow we are fundamentally different than President Bush. Well, folks, as I said, not on a single central economic issue are they. But here's the deal. There's a friend of mine named Bobby Casey. He is the senator from the state of Pennsylvania, a good friend of ours. He's my hometown of Scranton. And I want to paraphrase Bobby. I call him Bobby. I grew up in the same neighborhood. Bob Casey, Senator Bob Casey. He said, and I'm paraphrasing, if you call yourself a maverick, or put it another way, you can't call yourself a maverick if all you've been for the last 8 years is a sidekick.